With the panelists already here, Peter Kaluma, Member of Parliament, former Bay Town. Also we're joined by Dr. Makalimulu, who is a Member of Parliament, Kitui Central. Yet to be joined by Richard Onyonka, if he will show up. So we continue pace, as it were. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for showing up this evening. I really do appreciate it. It's been quite a long day for some of you. I know Dr. Makalimulu, it has been one of the longest days as well. And Peter Kaluma, thank you. It's been a while. But it's good now to slice and dice what is the lay of the land as far as politics is concerned. And we just begin maybe with Wakili, first of all. I don't know, you're one of them who was boycotting today with the, with the lawyers. Yeah, it seems it's not really a consummate, consolidated effort. Some of the lawyers as well were showing up. You know, they are not boycotted. What is your stand as far as maybe this issue of corruption and jurisprudence is concerned?
Yeah, let me say that I looked at the memo by the Council of the Law Society of Kenya.
Yes.
Which is a very new council, just elected the other time. I also saw the writing they gave to the judiciary about adjournment of the cases. And so I saw the grievance, or the grievances that was being, you know, presented by lawyers as the basis upon which they were protesting, demonstrating, and they were to picket today. I want to say that there could be an issue, but the approach is wrong and it is coming too early. One, the lawyers are saying that cases are delaying in terms of determination. How do you adjourn cases across the country of your clans for a whole day if really your grievance is that you know, the hearing of the cases should be expedited? You are being you are contradicting your position, because you can imagine if courts in the entire country, we have people who have been awaiting trial, they are in remand, they are not able to, you know, secure bail terms. You have people in civil disputes, land matters, succession matters, which are going for years. You want to say that you know, as lawyers you are boycotting courts so that they can be determined, you know, expeditiously, when by the very act of your boycott you are delaying the cases further. You can imagine the number of cases and the hurt on the client base represented by these lawyers which happened across the country.
But I thought maybe the boycott is maybe to instigate a shock value, so that at least even if you're saying the piling of the courts, there should be a immediate action that is taken so that we can see an intervention to try and curb corruption.
That is why I'm saying even if there were to be a reason, we have a better approaches of dealing with some of those issues. Look,
which from your own estimation will be what?
The Constitution creates independent commissions. One of them is the Judicial Service Commission. If you have a problem with any judge and you have evidence, present it to the Judicial Service Commission. And the Judicial Service Commission should deal with it. We cannot have a situation where we have Judicial Service Commission and as lawyers, instead of you know, pursuing that path, you know, you are bullying judges, saying you're boycotting, you know, their courts. Number two, you see, the lawyers are saying that there are petitions which have been taken, complaints taken before the Judicial Service Commission, that really they are not moving, you know, expeditiously. In some cases, you know, they are saying that, I noted from the memo, that the Judicial Service Commission, no, not the Judicial Service Commission, but the judges or the judicial officers whose conduct have been, you know, remitted to the Judicial Service Commission for disciplinary or removal purposes, have gone to courts. And so lawyers are also boycotting the courts for giving orders to those judges. But you see the ball again, the same lawyers will tell you two things. One, there is a right to fair hearing. Okay? And in terms of fair hearing, if you believe that the processes of the Judicial Service Commission are being abused, Makali here will tell you, you have a right to challenge it. No court will give an order, more so at the first instance, you know, staying legal action against a judicial officer, if unless there is some, you know, prima facie on the face of it basis, you know, for doing so. What you should press for is expeditious, therefore, hearing of the substantive, you know, complaints a judge has taken. But you cannot, you know, as an advocate, say that it is so wrong that you call for a protest because a judicial officer who was presented to the Judicial Service Commission is, you know, before another court of law staying action against him, I mean, then court processes will not exist. At the last level, Dibal, we can say judicial officers actually may be like other Kenyans engaged in unethical issues, including corruption. And I would be the last person to deny that. But what is a bridge in corruption that involved judicial officers? Is the lawyers themselves. If I can tell you, for my over 25 years in practice, there is no judge who will reach a client there without a lawyer in between here. So how are lawyers, before they even call for protests, that is hurting even their client base, dealing with corruption among lawyers themselves? I have relatives, Dibal, who are cutting sugarcane in Sony Sugar before I became an advocate.
Yes.
You know, an ambulance chaser, these ones we call ambulance chasers. Just go get their names from Migori, Yanan, and Kisii. And these people just went, got a settlement with insurance companies, got paid millions. Those sugarcane cutters never got a coin. You petition for these matters to be dealt with, they're not dealt with. I'm saying there may be reason to say we must hold the judiciary accountable. But we cannot do so at the expense of the general public we serve as lawyers.
Maybe also
and we cannot do so when we have not exhausted the other, approaches that we can, use to deal with this. And let me tell you, we have a very good Chief Justice, this time. I don't know why, the new president of the Law Society of Kenya, who I campaigned for and I really support and is a friend, Charles Kanjama, had or has a problem, just hacking a meeting involving the senior bar, the junior bar, with the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission, and then addressing her, those specific issues without, calling for protests, which is, the least suited remedy for the grievances they have.
My understanding also, I think in February there was a meeting which was held, with the Law Society of Kenya and among some of the people who were raising concerns, especially the juris pesa issue, right? Around February, 25th, 26th there was a meeting held. So calling for another meeting, what discernible difference will it make? But primarily I wanted just to ask the question of even the constitution of a Judicial Service Commission, as it were. Because from the Bomas, meeting that you had when this was coming up, there was a suggestion that we should have a non-judge as the president of a Judicial Service Commission. Not really having the Chief Justice now as the president of Judicial Service Commission as it stands right now. So that we may avoid the issue of the judge judging themselves. So that at least we have an arbiter who is, should I say, in a demilitarized zone, so to speak.
Let me tell you about the composition of the Judicial Service Commission. The Chief Justice is the chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission. The vice chair is the deputy chief justice. And then each court, as a judge or a magistrate, they elect. And then judges and magistrates sit together under Kenya Judges and Magistrates Association to elect their representative. A magistrate and a judge. We have a judge representing the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court. And then we have a magistrate, okay? The Law Society of Kenya elects 1 or 2 members of the commission. And there is a commissioner, in fact, about 2 commissioners representing public interest. And then the last is the Attorney General as the head of the bar. If you look at that composition, you really can't say that we don't have people who can secure, public interest in the matter. And that composition is not unique to the Judicial Service Commission. When you go to the Parliamentary Service Commission, Dibal, where we sit with my brother Makali, the chairperson of the Parliamentary Service Commission is the Speaker of the National Assembly. The Secretary and CEO of the Parliamentary Service Commission is the Clerk of the Senate. You have then members of Parliament from the National Assembly. Now we have Honorable Mishi Boko, I think Faith Gitau, and then members from the Senate. You have Senator Okongo Mogeni, and I think Senator Wamatinga currently, as the other one was removed. And then you have people like the retiring Honorable Ameso and others representing the public interest.